Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Etan santan etan panitan yadidam sabba sankhara samatho sabbupadi patinisaggo tanhakhayo virago nirodho nibbananti. I wanted to give a small talk on based upon my experience on the Nama and Rupa. What is meant by name and what is meant by form. And also that gives rise to how we can see the five aggregates in our daily life, in all the transactions we do from morning till evening with various people, and how do we deal with various situations, be it good situation or a bad situation. And we can't see the upekha part, which is the neutral situation at all. Now there has been a lot of discussions and debates about the Panchupadhana Khanda, whether that can be seen by a person or cannot be seen by a person. Can only Buddha can experience, or is Buddha required to actually make us all experience it? Now that Buddha is not there, how do we really see the Panchupadhana Khanda, and how do we see the Nama and Rupa? And if we go through various suttas without understanding or comprehending the Nama and Rupa, without comprehending the Panchupadhana Khanda, and also understanding Paticca it is not easy, or it is not possible for us to get into Nibbana. So it becomes a catch-22 situation wherein we want to attain Nibbana, but also we don't know most of these concepts as an experience. So we have to go through various books and various interpretations, and that confuses a lot of things and creates a mental conflict within us. Without much discussion on these things, what I'm talking, let me jump into the actual what it should be experienced. Now let us take the Nama part of it. The Nama, what we call as name, consists of the Vedana, feeling, Sanya, perception, Chetana, intention, Phassa, contact, and Manasikara, attention. And the Rupa is the Mahabhutas, Pathavi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo, and then the Upadaya Rupa of Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja. So this is what Sariputta had explained when asked about the Nama and Rupa. Now we might say it is Sariputta, so we don't know, we don't have the ability to understand like Sariputta and explain to the bhikkhus who were there at that time. So now our confusion created through this is that how do we see it ourselves? The answer lies in contemplating on what this Nama and Rupa is. So let's look at how do we define Nama in our daily life. We have to identify some object. It can be sound as an object, it can be shape as an object, it can be color as an object, it can be some attribute of that object is what we need to identify. So there is a feeling which comes in when we see, hear, taste, touch, smell and think. That is all the 6 senses. Chakhu is for seeing, Sota is for hearing, Ghana is for smelling, Jiva is for tasting, Kaya is for touching or the Pottabha here, and then Mano is to experience the Dhamma or the mental objects. If you were to close your eyes right now, what do you see? Just try to do this right now. Just close your eyes for a second. And what do you really see? You will see some shapes, or you will see my whatever words I am talking. And then you cannot smell, you cannot touch, you cannot taste, but what predominantly you can really, when we say see, is called as adivachana, meaning language and connotation. So for everything we have created this language and connotation so that we create a conventional reality for ourselves. So can we see hearing? No, but when I say close your eyes and see, you'll start seeing. So that is the basic thing what we that is the basic thing what we really get into, that there should be something seen. This language and connotation is what we call as nama for a particular rupa. So the feeling comes in. Now the sanya will say, the perception will say based upon what you know on that object. So now you should close your eyes and hear to me. You are having the hearing as an object. Since I am talking in English, it automatically interprets in the sign language for you, which is the sanya. And there is an intention to know, and that is a chetana. And there is a contact with the senses, and there is phassa. And this manasikara, which is part of the vijnana, gives you that experience. So this is how the nama works. So we give a nominal name, or we call it as a name to identify next time. So when I tell my name as Vilas, you don't have to worry about the 32 parts of my body. So basically we have 32 parts in our body. So in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Buddha talks about these 32 parts of the body. And in Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta also it is there. In fact, there he defines about what is Pathavi and what is Apo. And each one of these different parts of the body represents the Pathavi or the solidity, and the Apo, which is liquidity, binding, cohesion and flowing. But we don't remember that. So when I say Vilas, you take me as a human form because you are also a human form. So now there is a name for these 32 parts of the body. So it's conventionally very easy, instead of all the time calling it as liver and spleen and intestine and heart and lungs and brain and so on. It doesn't make sense. So when I say Vilas, when I say John, when I say Ken, and when we say whatever names we would like to give for a particular body, it becomes easy. Now when we see the body, it is consisting of Pathavi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo. And if I take my skin near my nose, what do I feel? I have a smell of my skin. If I am sweating profusely, then I have a smell of a different kind. If I put a perfume, then there is a smell of a different kind. So there is Varna, Rasa, Gandha. So I am talking about Gandha. And my skin has a color. So Varna. Then there is Rasa. So if I see my body is giving certain juice, So there are certain juices which come out on a daily basis for all of us. And when we eat food, there is again this rasa produced, and there is nutrients, that's called oja. In the mud also we will find, in all the parts, wherever we find Patavi, Apo, Vayu, Teju, we will find Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja also being there. So this is how the dhatu starts. So in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Buddha calls it as dhatu manasikara pabbam. It is, manasikara is that same intention what I spoke about, that is Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Phassa, Manasikara. So dhatu manasikara is the attention. The attention towards these 4 elements and 4 upadaya rupa. Now, instead of identifying like this, we identify by name. So when I say heart, the child, when it was going to the school, is shown heart, a diagram or a picture, and it is said that this is called as heart. It is named. So from then on it memorizes. So the manasikara has the ability to memorize certain things which it considers as true. But actually it is not true. We have been programmed to believe that, because we don't call it as Patavi as solidity, or Patavi as the hardness and softness, and hard is a soft one. It is a soft clay, basically. In fact, Buddha defines what is this Patavi. He says that there are 2 kinds of Patavi. One is the soft and one is the hard. So he also defines what is hard there. He says the bones are hard. Ajjatta, that is the bones, the teeth, the nails. These are the hard things, and other things are soft. Out of the whole 20 parts of the Patavi, and 12 parts are Apo. Now, we don't want to call by that because it is again confusing. So it is better to call this one as a human being. But if I really see, how do I get out of the Sakkaya Ditti, is to understand that Ajjatta Bahidda. That means whatever teeth I am having, the same teeth is there with everyone. It's not only my teeth, it's just a teeth. The bones what I am having, it's not my bones, it is just the bone. Everybody has it. There's no special quality in that. Everybody has a skull, everybody has a bone. So there is nothing called as a specific one. Similarly, the clay, what we find, is also same with all of us. Not only that, the stones, what we find, is also made out of Patavi. It is hard. The remaining thing, the mud, the clay, they are soft. As soon as the water is put, it becomes soft. It becomes very malleable. That means it can be changed to various shapes. So if we see all our internal organs, they are of the malleability. That is, they keep on moving and they keep on growing and all that. And they are not hard, they are very soft. So basically, if you look at Ajjatta Bahidda, we find there is no difference between you and me or any other being at all, including the animals. What we see, they also have the same elements. But it's difficult to do that. So we call some being as an elephant because that is what we named it as. So we have given attributes to that element, to that elephant, saying that if these attributes are there, we call this as an elephant. And we see something and we call that as a tiger. And we have created an attributes or definition of what qualifies for tiger. Similarly, we keep on doing this for everyone, including ourselves. Now when we come to ourselves, it becomes even more complicated, because in the animal world we don't really interact on a daily basis. We only interact maybe with a dog or a cat if we were to have pets in our home, because we have named them. If you were to ask, what is your name? It will not answer anything, because they are a different species. They don't talk like what we are talking. So their adivachana sampasa and patigga sampasa, these are two technical terms what is used by the Buddha, which I'll explain to you. Adivachana, vachana is speaking, adhi is creating a value in our speaking. So we create a value system through language and concepts and connotation and how it should be spelt, and we create a grammar. We create all of this to make sure that conventionally everybody speaks the same thing. We are really disturbed if somebody speaks something else other than what is conventionally agreeable, and that we call it as a society. So when we create a society, we believe that everybody would be doing the same thing. If somebody is doing something different, and then we don't like that person to be in midst of our society, because that confuses us. Now why is this confusion? Because there is a fear of that person doing something else while we are not doing it. Either he might be right in what he is doing, or we are right in what we are doing. Either way, that person has to leave because he is disturbing what we are doing. So this is the adivachana part of it. Patigha is striking, strike through. So these rupas, that is the four elements, and the upadaya rupas strike, and as soon as it strikes, we name it. So that the next time the sanya gives us that symbol to call what it is, based upon the feeling or the vedana. So we always have this vedana and sanya going together all the time, to identify and feel, to feel and identify. So this becomes a cycle, which again goes to the paticca samutpada, because we have an avidya that we ourselves have named something which the name did not existed in the first place. Now when we put a name, the changes will start. Wherever we put a name, the change will start. So as soon as the baby is born, we make it as a jati, that is born. Once it is born, the parents now name the child. From then on, even though the baby is changing in its physical appearance, conventionally the person is called by the same name, and no two moments are the same for that baby. When it came out, it started growing. It cannot now fit back into the womb if somebody were to try to fit it back. And nobody even bothers to know that what this baby is all about, from where it came, what is this being, what it was doing earlier. Immediately there is a grasping. Grasping here is the fuel, upadana. And also there is this fuel and grasping which is there in the upadana. So the mother and the father and all of these people will hold the baby to their heart, thinking that it is come from the same mother, but it has only used the material for that and not the impressions what it had. But we forget all about it and we start thinking that it is our child. So all of a sudden the naming will start, identification will start, that the mother tells that this is my baby, the father tells that this is my baby. The grandfather, the grandparents, or the grandmother and the grandparents of both the husband and wife will start identifying it in that way. So from that day onwards, it becomes their child. So this is how we actually do these things. Now, why do we do it? Because that is how conventionally it is all about. So this nama and rupa can be created only through consciousness or vijnana. So first we have to get conscious about this nama and rupa, and in that there is craving. So this consciousness get attached to us, to that person, or the person does naming and identification for that particular rupa, because there is craving to enjoy, and that is the cause of suffering or the dukkha. because now he wants to engage in something which cannot be engaged with. Like if you, for example, our bodies are growing, but if somebody were to call my name, I'll still respond saying that, hi. If somebody says that, Vilas, are you there? And then I'll say, yes, I'm there. Why I do it? Because basically that is what I've been asked to do. That whenever this name is said, the Sanya will say that, hey, it is your name who is being called. What if there were two Vilas? They both will turn, because we don't know whom is being asked for. Both the Sanyas are the same. The feeling said that there is something which is happening. So the mind sense door now senses through the sound saying that your name is called. So the Sanya says that you are called Vilas, so please turn. So then immediately the intention, Chetana, comes into existence, that I want to know why did this person call. And there is a contact with the same Chetana. So now if I know the person, I will start reacting to that person based upon the phassa or the contact. And the manasikara gives me that experience what I had with that person earlier. Now with the other person doesn't recognize this person, because the Sanya doesn't put things in order for that Vedana. This person walks out and I start interacting with this being who called me. So this is on the one side of Nama and Rupa. Now let us come to the second side of this equation. Now because of this Nama and Rupa, I take different roles in a day. Right now I am a married person. There is no rule book which says that what the married person should do, and each person does different things, but there are customs and traditions which define at an overall level what this person is supposed to do. So this person called as so and so is now branded as a husband because he is a male. So now this is the Adivachana in action. You remember the Adivachana explanation what I just now gave you. Vachana is the language to speak, and Adhi is to make a value in that speech or talk. So the grammar, the language, the connotation, the concepts, all of that comes under the Adivachana. Now as soon as my name is called and I am a, let us say, husband, so certain things are expected out of me. So I have a Vedana which is created in my mind to say that if I am a husband, then I should have a wife. Simple. That's a feeling. If I am a husband for somebody, I should have a wife. If I have a wife, then there should be a sanya, perception that not everybody is my wife, only a particular Rupa is my wife. So I keep on seeing this being in front of me and I keep on calling that as wife, because that's what I've been told, that she is your wife. So this consciousness, vijnana, makes this nama and rupa possible. This wife, there is no person called as wife. This wife was a given name, but already this girl has a name, but then it is replaced in the mental name called wife. I have a name already given by the parents, but then all of a sudden there is this husband which has been added. Now when there is a husband which is created, it has to go through the entire paticca samutpada cycle. Now there is preparations to be done for this husband to live life and to feed, to bring in food for the family, and there is something called as family. So all this is part of the adivachana what we are talking about. Can anybody define, identify what's a family? We don't even know what it means, but it's conventionally used. Some people say parents and the children and the wife and the husband is called as family. Some people will say that the parents and the brothers and sisters and the wife and the son, or the children and the husband forms a family. Some people are of the opinion that it is the husband, wife and the child is called as a family. So you see the confusion what we have when we use the word family. Now that is the impression what gets registered in the person's mind, and he believes what he believes to be true, because it is just the connotation, the sanya, which is making him feel that there is something called as a family. Now anyway, I have to bring in food for my family. That's what the job of the husband is. But the wife is also working. She is also bringing food and everything for the family. But that is what we call as prosperity. So we add another term called as prosperity. And we call another word called as happiness. And we call everything Pathavi, Apo, Vayo, Tejo, what we are really connecting as an object. So we create a value for these objects and say that it is so valuable. So the wife becomes valuable, the husband becomes valuable, the children becomes valuable, the job becomes valuable. So everything now becomes valuable and comparable. So when we can compare something, there is always a kind of dissatisfaction which happens because of comparison. We want that value to increase. But the nature law, which is anicca, is uppada vayatena anicca. That is, whatever is produced is going to get deteriorated very soon and it fades away. But that is not what I signed up for. I want a permanence there. I want it to actually work the way I want it to work. So now what should I do? I have to keep on doing Sankhara all the time to maintain. So you see, what are we doing? For a particular Rupa called as wife, I am creating a Vedana called as a feeling for the wife, and the sanya that this person is your wife. Now I have to keep on preparing something to maintain that expectation for the wife. And this experiencing is what Vijnana is doing for that Nama Rupa. But in the outside, that being is changing based upon its own karma or the deeds what it has done. As that being whom I married, I don't have any control whatsoever, and whatever I do, it becomes anatta, is essenceless, because there is always a dissatisfaction in whatever I am doing, because it is named and nobody knows what the husband is supposed to do. Nobody knows what the child is supposed to do. Nobody knows the wife is what supposed to do, because we have different traditions, different cultures, different habits, different languages, different customs, and so many things which we have created, and we call this as a papancha or world. So the world consists of nothing but these 5 aggregates for all of us. There is no differentiation. So everybody has only Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, which is called as I. But these are khandas, they are just memories of whatever is being seen, whatever is being felt, whatever is being cognized, whatever is being produced or prepared, and whatever is being identified. That's all it is. And it keeps on changing moment to moment, just like the clock. So the wife keeps on telling me what she wants. As a husband, I keep on telling what I want. And both of these wants have got nothing to do with what I really want. Because this I, which was the name given by my parent at least, but now I'm a husband, my role is totally different. And when the same body goes to the office, I become an employee. There's another name now. And then you have a role as an employee. Maybe as an officer, maybe as a manager, maybe as a workman, maybe as a foreman, maybe as a software engineer. whatever we have created, so we will put it on that person. Now we are evaluating that role of the person. Now how do you define the role? So we say that we have a job description, job responsibility. We have created that. So the person is supposed to understand that and start working. So again we create a Rupa which does not exist. Let us say a manager. What should a manager do? Nobody knows. But the manager is created immediately as a job description. The person reads out, tries to talk to people, and they conventionally say that this is what the manager is supposed to do. So there is a feeling in him that he is a manager. Is he really a manager? This is the question what somebody should ask. Is he really a manager? No. But the sanya says that you are a manager. So the feeling and the sanya or the perception says that you are that. So now he has to prepare himself day in, day out for this, keeping this manager role. So what does he do? He does a kaya sankhara, he does a vachi sankhara, he has a mano sankhara. All these three sankharas is the one what he starts to develop and create all the time. So this is exactly what we are trying to do in our waking life, to create these sankharas. And these sankharas are not something which is easy. The moment we create it using our chetana, they become karma. So it creates life after life because we take this as true. In no way they are true. I am not a manager, but I am made to believe that I am a manager because there is a patigha for that adivachana. So I now create in my mind this Patavi, Apo, Vayo, Tejo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja for the manager. So now I feel I am the manager. Similarly, somebody says that you are a chief executive officer. So now I make manager as a lower profile role and CEO as the highest role, because there is a value now. So as long as we create value, we would like to enjoy, because we have created the nama which creates the value for us. So now we create a Rupa which will make us enjoy that value system what has been created. Now this is what we do all the time. So when we say Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, this is how we can see relating to the roles what we are playing on a daily basis. Not only daily basis, moment by moment. Let us say some neighbor comes home. What is a neighbor? We don't know, but we are created. So one should know that all of these are conventional truth. They are not actual truth. So Buddha explained that Samuchi Satya and Paramatma Satya. Samuchi Satya is just for identifying, so that we can speak to another person or communicate to another person. What I should be doing as a Sotapanna or a Sakadagami or Anagami is to know that this is just a drama, what I am playing. There is nothing called as a neighbor. Just to identify the Patavi, Apo, Vayo, Tejo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja, I am calling that as a neighbor. What's the difference between him and me? Bodily they are the same. The mental they are different. And not only that, the karma is different. So karma and karma vipaka for that person is totally different. That's all what it is. And he also has Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, because when he comes and talks to me, he talks to me as a neighbor. He thinks I am a neighbor. But he has got nothing to do with me, nor I have got anything to do with him, actually. But for transaction purposes, now we have created this. So what I need to do in my understanding is to make sure that I don't make the Samuchi Satya as Paramatma Satya. And that is the Avidya. So in the Paticca Samutpada cycle, when we look at Avidya Pachaya Sankhara, it is about what we create in our mind as Paramatma Satya. So now there's a truth in that neighbor. So whatever is created is destroyed. So Upadati Bhanga. So there is this state where we would like to have this stay for some time. So this is the Sankhara, what is getting created. Sankhara goes through 5 stages. Udayangama, Atthangama, Asada, Adinava, Nissarana. So Udayangama is this neighbor. So just now we have met, so we have shaken the hands, and then there's a Udaya, there is an arising. Atthangama, there is a development. Asada, it is where we get into, there is a fruitful conditioning which is working. When something changes, which is what it is all the time, because the expectation keeps on changing, because that is what the conventional truth will make us, the Nama and the Rupa, is an expectation oriented and conditionally based. And that is the reason it is called as Sankhara and Paticca Samutpanna. So now this relationship is Paticca Samutpanna. But the moment it is Sankhara, it has to become Adinava. Adinava is that it keeps on diminishing, because that is the nature. And Nissarana, it fades away. So every time I need to do Sankhara to maintain that friendship as a neighbor. Now I have to do something as an employee. I have to do something as a husband. I have to do something as a wife. I have to do something as a parent. So each one of these names, what has been produced in our mind as a conventional truth, is what this Rupa is all about. With every Rupa comes a heap of Vedana, and a heap of Sanya, and heap of Sankhara, and a heap of Vijnana. And once they pass away, it just becomes memory. So you see, we go to a place and we start taking pictures. Why do we do that? Because we want to live that in our mind. But every moment, these are coming and going. They are not even staying for a second. I have been a parent for last 19 years for my son. What's the difference which has happened? He was an infant. Now he is a 19-year-old. He was not even able to speak when he was born. Now he is studying. He is doing his own subjects. He is going to a college. Did I ever know when he was born that he will be going to college? No. Do I know what is he going to become later? No. But there is an anticipation of the future. That is the future memory which is being created in the mind right now. There is a past memory that he was a small child. He was going to a school and he was doing this, he was doing that. Same thing with my wife. Even before I married her, she didn't even know me. Or we knew, but we didn't know like what we know now. But then there was no child. So if somebody were to ask on day 1 of the marriage of somebody, do you have a child? No, not at all. It's not possible to produce a child like that. So then what is there? There is no Nama and Rupa, because there is no Vijnana. So Vijnana Pacchaya Nama Rupa. So the mother has to be, should be in a position to to hold the child. The father should be ready to produce that condition for the mother to become pregnant, and then there is this childbearing session happening, which Buddha explains beautifully in the Maha Nidana Sutta about whether if consciousness does not descend into the womb, would there be increase in the Nama and Rupa? And Ananda says no, which we can observe. But there is this ignorance which says that the wife and the husband have met. So that means they can now have a child, because the society now approves that. You see how much of this drama what we have done. We have created this unnecessary drama which keeps on consuming itself through various garbs. Garbs means these dresses what we wear, and these dresses are called as preparation. So I need to prepare for an exam. I need to prepare for becoming a husband. I need to prepare for becoming a wife. I need to prepare for becoming a son, good son for my parents. And I need to be prepared for becoming an employee. I need to be prepared to becoming an officer. I need to be prepared for taking a role of a manager or a CEO or starting a company or doing this, doing that. So I need to be prepared to go to a place. I need to be prepared for going on vacation. You see how much preparation we are doing. So this is a sankharas. So first we do a mano sankhara, then we do a vachi sankhara, then we do a kaya sankhara. Because we keep on preparing and preparing and preparing. And not only that, we create a condition suitable for that preparation. Otherwise, the mind will feel dejected. And this conditioning is called as sankata. So, this is what we keep on doing. And this is exactly what a person can see in his daily working about how this Nama and Rupa works and how these 5 aggregates can be seen. But unfortunately, we don't see them because it goes so fast. But that's not true. If we were to really penetrate into it, we can see in every relationship, whatever has been created, then and there these 5 aggregates exist. They arise and they pass away. So when a person dies, then what has gone? The Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana is now gone forever. I cannot bring out that person except from memory. Nothing else I can do. So now I miss the whole piece. But actually, if I were to really observe, this has been happening moment to moment and nothing I could do at that point in time. The only thing what had happened is that the Vijnana is able to produce this experience again and again, giving that continuity. And this continuity feeling is what the Ghana Sanya is all about. That it makes things very solid. It shows that something which is not existing as existing. And that is where our avidya is or ignorance is. Once we really see this happening, that is where the mara is all about. That is where the karma works, because we are so sensually attached to these 5 senses that they give us a distinctive identity and makes us feel that I am seeing, I am watching, I am playing, I am enjoying, I am suffering, I am eating, I am sleeping, this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my friend, this is my enemy, this is my son or daughter, this is my office, this is my place where I sit, this is what I am called as in the office, these are certificates what I have created. All of that is part of the Adivachana Samphassa and Patigga Samphassa on one side, and the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, which keeps on occurring in a stream all the time. And that is how we get attached to something, and because we attach to it, the reason for attachment to that is craving. Craving for wife gets me a girl to make it as my wife, beloved wife. But that is just a name given, but then I feel that she is my beloved because I have named it as beloved. Now how does beloved come into existence is because of the Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Phassa, Manasikara. Because of that, this beloved has come into existence. And then wife, same thing. Now she would say, I am her beloved husband. How did this come into existence? Again, for the same feeling, the same perception, then there is intention, there is contact, and there is manasikara, which is the attention what is getting generated. So I am now become an experiencer, and there is something to be experienced. So I am experiencing the wife in my mind, and I am experiencing son in my mind. So now I set an expectation for all of this, because that is what gives me the enjoyment of the Rupa. Otherwise the same Rupa will become painful. So when it doesn't work, then the same Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana becomes a painful experience which is stored in the memory now. So every time that happens, I will be able to reflect upon and then actually feel very uncomfortable. But when I enjoy it, then I feel that I have enjoyed it. But who is enjoying it? The six senses are supposed to be enjoying. Even they are not. They are giving a perception of that enjoyment, which is sanya. So our whole life goes in doing only these two things, and nothing else we do apart from these things. So if we were to keep on continuing on this, the whole life ends, and then the next life is already ready, because we have already created the bhava, necessary conditions to exist, to continue this nama and rupa on one side, and the rupa vedana sanya sankhara vijnana on the other side, to either enjoy or suffer, because now another set of creation can be made out of it, and that is the jati. So if you look at a paticca cycle, the tinna sangati phassa pacchaya vedana, vedana pacchaya tanha, tanha pacchaya upadana, upadana pacchaya bhava, bhava pacchaya jati, jati pacchaya jara marana soka parideva dukkha domanasa upayasa sambhavanti, ema veva kevalassa dukkha khandasya samudaya hoti. So what is this tinna sangati phassa? So chakuncha patichat rupanch rupe upajjati chakku viññānam. So this viññāna is what gets created because of this rupa coming along with chakku. Just like the fire on the basis of fuel comes into existence because there is upadana, the fuel is there, so it grasps. The matter grasps the fire, and the fire grasps that matter, let us say wood. Similarly, the rupa and the chakku are independent, but the viññāna then makes that stitching possible. So now, because of that, there is passo, there is a contact, and that contact created this Vedana for us. So once we have Vedana, then we name that Vedana because of the Rupa. That Rupa, what is created, is called as wife. Tinna Sangati Passo. Now, Chakuncha Paticca Rupecha Upajjati Chakku Viññānam. I see this lady who is now in my memory as a wife. Even though she is growing old, wife remains. So now I have a Nitya Sanya. And what it is Anitya. But I have a Nitya Sanya. So she becomes Sukha. If she becomes Sukha, becomes Atta. That is, wife exists. She is going to exist with me all the time. And then it is Shubha. So Nitya, Sukha, Atta, Subha. So she is the most auspicious thing to happen to me. It's so nice that she married me. And she also thinks the same thing. Oh, it's so nice that I married this person. So this is how we create the Nama and the Rupa, because there is something called as a wife. And if you really search on internet and find what the wife should do you have a job description for a wife? Try it out and see. It's not there. Do you have any job description for a parent? Do you have any job role for a son or a husband or an employee or a carpenter or a painter? All of these names what we have created, they are just named. They don't exist. What really is that we are calling the same Rupa, which consists of Pathvi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja, into something, because that is what we want conventionally for us to identify it so that we don't forget. What are we trying to do? We are trying to have a sanya symbol. It's called as Papancha Sanya Sankha. Sankha is the symbolization, Sanya is a perception that is our mind can perceive objects. Symbols can be perceived by our mind. The English, what I am talking, gets converted into respective symbols in our mind, and it takes the shape whatever I am talking about. So it becomes very easy now, and when we can create the papancha. Papancha is the reckoning or creation of the world, which is caused by reckoning and proliferation. So we can now think what it is all about. What did he say? Why did he say this? So we can now mentally recalibrate the information and make it our own now. So I can say I am a sotapanna. Now if the moment I say I am a sotapanna, 100 questions are going to be asked about how do you know that you are a sotapanna? Now this is called adhivachana samphassa. Adhivachana, again I have spoken about adhivachana. So vachana is the language to speak. Adhi is valuing. So sotapanna is the most valuable thing right now. Why? Because it helps us not to be reborn in the apayas. If Buddha were to say that it's okay, you will be born anywhere, would we be interested in becoming a sotapanna? Most likely not. Then sakadagami. Next one. Oh, we should not accumulate. What are we accumulating? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vinyana. That is all what we are accumulating. Of the Pathavi, Apo, Vayo, Tejo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja. Out of these, that is what we are trying to accumulate. But what we have given a value. Sakadagami is a higher value than the Sotapanna. So there is already a craving to become Sakadagami. Then there is something called as Anagami, non-returner. This is better in value when compared to Sotapanna, when compared to Sakadagami. Isn't it not? And then there's something called as an Arhat. And that is much better when compared to all the remaining three. But we are not giving up the craving. But what Sariputta says in one of the sutta is that through craving only you can give up craving. So how do we do it? First, remove this nama and rupa in your mind. The craving ends itself forever. You need to have an inclination to become an arhat. You need to have an inclination to become a sagatagami. You need to have an inclination to become anagami. You need to have an inclination to become sotapanna. But what we need to do in our mind is to remove the contact. That is, the contact is created by what? With what? With this name and form and vinyana. If we were to remove one of it, either vinyana or nama and rupa, immediately the Nibbana is guaranteed then and there, because the whirlpool doesn't exist any longer. As long as we are doing this role, like in my case I have put anagarika, nagarika, rather, if I were to put it. Why? Because there's a value in it. What if my name is just my first and last name? Does it really matter? It doesn't. It can remain without that anagarika. But then in my mind, if I don't put this and I don't even care about my name, what happens? I can attain Nibbana immediately because I don't have any expectation because of this nama and rupa and vinyana. So what we need to see is that when a name is called anagarika, what is it going in my mind? Rupa. What is the Vedana getting created? Oh, you know what? You are anagarika. You are doing very well. You know Dhamma very well. So that's a sanya which is saying, oh, you know very well. But it's just a memory, actually. Whatever I am speaking right now, maybe I have been speaking for last half an hour, 45 minutes, I think so. And all that is now stored in this YouTube. So I can now only replay it. Can I go and change the clock and start all over again? No. These are just like memories or like frames coming one by one, moment to moment, nanosecond to nanosecond, or whatever we want to call. Again, this nanosecond is a adivachana for Patig. For the same Rupa Vedana, for the this Patavi, Apo, Vayo, Tejo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja, this is what we keep on creating the concept. Nano is a concept. Time is a concept. Space is a concept. Mathematics is a concept. Everything is conceptual. And that is how we can communicate with people in the world. So when somebody says to me that you are a Sotapanna, what does it do to me? It brings craving, it brings raga in me. If somebody says that you are not a Sotapanna, you don't have any ability to become a Sotapanna, then what happens to me? I have the same craving to become a Sotapanna, but now I have Dvesha. Why? Because somebody is saying to me that I am not a Sotapanna. Now my question comes, how does he know whether I am a Sotapanna or not? But I want him to feel because I have valued him. So this value stream is what we create in our mind, which doesn't have any value. We create a value and we identify that value, and this is called as Nama and Rupa. The Rupa is created because there is a value. Please remember, all the concepts we have a value, but it is essenceless, it is anatta. And because we have value, we have to do Sankhara. And because we are doing the Sankhara, we can do three kinds of Sankhara. One is we can do Punyabhi Sankhara, Apunyabhi Sankhara, Aninjabhi Sankhara. And we get lost in the Punyabhi Sankhara and Apunyabhi Sankhara. So we'll do all of that to retain that value. In fact, no value existed in the first place, but the mind says, hey boss, you have a value. Come on, he is undervaluing you. Prove to him that you have a value. So now I generate more Sankharas. So now I have a abhijja because I want to retain that value. And then I have Vyapada, and that burns me. Both of them are huge fires, abhijja and Vyapada. And that is one which creates a good opening for me to enter into the apayas, because this value itself doesn't exist. It is a created concept. It was created in the minds of people, and we call that a society. But nothing has a value, because you yourself, I myself, don't have any value as such. If I had a value, can I hold the value from the baby I was till today? What value can I hold? Can I go back and change anything there? No. Can I create new ones for future? No. Then what I can do about the value? Nothing. So this is where we need to understand about the Nama Rupa, and also how this Rupa Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, we keep on creating moment by moment, and that value stream is what we create, and we suffer because of that value stream. That is how the dukkha starts now, and that is where we can see dukkha dukkha, sankhara dukkha, and viparinama dukkha. So when somebody says that you are no longer valued, so that becomes viparinama for me. And to maintain that value, what should I do? I should generate value. Simple. How do I generate? Value you have to see. So people will tell me, you do this course, your value increases. You do that course, your value increases. You should be knowing this language, then the value increases. If you don't know that language, your value decreases. You see what I am trying to come to. Now this is a concept. There's no reality in there. Is there any Rupa in that value? Is there any Vedana in the value? Is there any Sanya in that value? Sankhara in the value? Or Vijnana in the value? No. But when it is given to me, now I create a value in my mind. So now I start running, because the fire has engulfed me. Raga is one fire. Dvesha is another fire. Moha is another fire. These three fires are sufficient for me to burn. Where are they burning? Chakku is the fire. Sota is the fire. Ghana is the fire. Jivha is the fire. Kaya is the fire. Mano is the fire. Chakku with what? Rupa is again a fire. Gandha is again a fire. Then Shabda is again a fire. Pottabha is another fire. Dhamma is another fire. So we have 12, 6 plus 6, and that is what Buddha calls it as anatta. So in the Giribananda Sutta, this is what he really brings out. What is anatta? This is exactly what he says. Rupam anatta, chakkum anatta. Like that he concludes with 12. And what is anicca? Anicca is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Why? The value. Is it something as per one's liking? Because that value itself never existed in the first place. This name and forms never existed. It was created by all of us to identify something as conventional truth. So what has been created will definitely get destroyed. It cannot stay. So the body is created, the body gets destroyed. And body is being created through what? By these 4 elements. Patavi, Apo, Vayo, Tejo. So they'll get destroyed. The personality is created in the mind by the people. So I need to retain that mentality. Can it be possible? No. Because the situation keeps on changing. There are new challenges which comes up. So I need to keep on upgrading it. This upgrade process is called as Sankhara. So I need to keep on preparing and preparing and preparing and preparing, and this preparing is anatta. It's essenceless, basically, because it is conditioned, sankata. It is paticca samutpanna. Without that role, there is no value. So we create a role and a value. We create a name and we value that name. They have created my name, my parents have named me, and there is a value for that. I need to live to that value. So I need to be a good parent. I need to be a good child for my parents in the first place. I need to be a very good child for my teachers. I need to be a very good neighbor. I need to be a very good citizen for the country, because there is something called as a country. How do we know there's a country? There's a flag. Can you show me the country now? No, it's not possible. We show a piece of land and then make it as a country. Is there a real piece of land? No, it is Patavi. That's all what it is. Now there are rivers, it's Apo. Now there is Tejo, heat and cold. Then there is Vayo, wind. Wind doesn't have any country. It can go wherever it wants. Patavi doesn't have any country. It can go wherever it wants. Apo doesn't have a country. It can go wherever it wants. Tejo doesn't have a country. It can go wherever it wants. Now where is this country created? Adivachana. On what? Patigha. That's all what it is. So it is a foolishness on our part to consider what is not there as there. So only thing we need to see is that it is like a child play or a drama. Since everybody has to use this language and connotation, concepts and all of that, grammar and all of that, we call that as a conventional truth. So it's just for convention, so that we don't put another person in confusion. But what we really need to see, we need to not generate any Rupa, any Vedana, any Sanya, any Sankhara, any Vijnana in our mind. The moment we don't do that, Nibbana is just there. Because we are not additionally creating it, we are seeing it. It's arising and passing away. Uppada vayatena anicca. Or if you, there is another a nice rendering by the Buddha. I am not able to get that right now. Let me see whether I can. I got it. I remember. He talks about anicchāvata sankhara uppadavaya dhammino upajjitva nirujjanti te san upasamo sukho. So this nature, if we were to see as it is anicca, because it arises and passes away. So uppada, producing, vaya, consuming it. Vaya dhammino, so all the mental created conditions, they arise, that means we produce it, like a value what we have produced, and they diminish. Softwares, if you see, there are various versions. When it was created, had a value. Sooner or later, the value is gone. So you need to create another one. So this sankhara. So anicca sankhara, uppadavaya dhammino. So this is the nature of the sankhara. Upajitva nirujjanti. That is, once they arise, they disappear or they cease to exist sooner or later. So there are a lot of end of cycle projects. There are a lot of end of cycle products, and whatever we, from a transistor to a small stereo system which was created, the first engine for the automobile, for so many things which were invented by people, are long forgotten. Now we don't even care much because everything is now on cloud. There are MP3, there are different kind of versions, different kind of recordings which can be done on, and we have different algorithms to compress and all that. Back then, 50 years ago, this was unthinkable to do. So each sankhara keeps on changing by itself. So the previous ones gone. So the transistor now don't exist. The tape recorder don't exist because that Rupa is gone. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. What happened to the person who actually invented it? Just think, what happened to that person? His effort is gone. But when he brought it up, what happened? He was very happy. So this is how the whole thing is. So we need to see what is really happening. All that we create is anatta. It is essenceless, because sooner or later everything is forgotten. The effort what we would have put for something, even for a birthday parties or going to a movie, doing something, doing a job, being with a family, being with a wife, being with a husband, being with children, that effort what we are putting, nobody cares about the effort. Everybody cares about the result. And the result is conditioned. Can we make something happen? No. It is based upon a condition. As long as conditions exist, the dependency is there. So if you look at the dependency and the conditionality and dependency, they both are interlinked. So you remove conditionality, dependency goes. If you remove dependency, the condition goes. So if wife doesn't exist, listen to this very carefully. If the wife doesn't exist, are there any dependencies, expectation to be performed? No. Nirujjanti. As long as wife exists, as long as the husband exists, everything is dependent. So we can put this in anywhere we want. So what does he say? Imam sati idam hoti, idam uppada, idam upajjati. Now we'll put wife there. If wife is a condition which is being met, or husband is a condition being met, now there is an arising or production of wife or husband. So they exist. The moment the wife is dead, the husband is dead, or the wife is divorced, the husband is divorced, what happens? Nirodha and Nirujja. Nirodha is it doesn't arise anymore. Nirujja is it cease away or fade away. So the divorced people or the people who have lost their wives or husband can understand it much better, that after some time they don't even remember the time they spent. Only those memories which are being very strongly associated remains. Otherwise, moment by moment memories don't even exist for us to experience. And if I hate my wife or my husband, then I don't want to remember him at all. You see how this whole thing works. So with that, I would like to conclude today's talk on the Nama Rupa and how we can see in our daily life. Hope this helps you, and I would be very happy if you could ask me any questions, either through any forum or anything. You want to do that, or you want to contact me, you can certainly contact me, and I will leave my email ID in the YouTube link. Thank you so much, and thanks for listening.